Welcome back to another episode of I don't know what to call this YouTube channel. I'm your host, Lexington Jones. This is my co-host, Bronxy, and today's video is all about choosing the land for your glamp site. All right, so there are 3 different steps in finding the right piece of land. The first step is understanding the different types of land. Step number 2 is understanding how you are going to buy that land once you find it. And step number 3 is finally finding the piece of land with the correct zoning. Let's get into it. So step number 1, there are 3 different types of land that you can buy. There is raw land, there's unimproved land, and there is improved land. Raw land is basically no utilities whatsoever. No water, no electric, no sewage, no nothing. The second type of land is unimproved land. Unimproved land is some utilities. Maybe there's a water line, no sewage, no power, or maybe there's power, no water, no sewage. You have some utilities, but it's very similar to raw land as you need alternative ways to provide utilities. And finally, number 3 is improved land, and that is what we're all used to when you have water, power, septic, and all the utilities you need on a daily basis. All right, so next I want to talk about the pros and cons of each. The pros of raw land and unimproved land is that most of the time it's a lot cheaper and that you can choose land in more rural areas. However, the cons to raw land and unimproved land is that they have no utilities and that it can't appraise, so it's very hard to get financing. Now let's do the pros and cons for improved land. The pros are that it does have utilities, and since it has utilities, it sometimes can appraise, which means you can get financing for it. The con for improved land is that most of the time it's more expensive. So step number 2 is understanding how you are going to buy the land once you find the piece of land that you want to buy. So there are 2 ways you can get land. 1, you can rent land from someone, and 2, you can buy the land. So my personal thoughts on renting land, I'm not a big fan of renting land because there's actually a lot of value in owning the land. If you watch The Founder and you understand why McDonald's is so successful, is because when you franchise a McDonald's, McDonald's owns the actual land. The founder of McDonald's says that he's in the real estate business and not in the hamburger business because he owns the actual land. Another reason why I don't like renting land is that you have no control over the maintenance of the land. If you're putting your glamp business on someone else's land, then you're basically trusting that person to maintain the quality of the land. And if you're going to spend tens of thousands of dollars, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars on your glamp business, I want you to be able to have as much control over the quality as possible. And finally, the reason why I don't like renting land is that if you ever want to sell your glamping business, owning the land or having a deal that you are paying off the land in payments basically allows you to have a buyable business and will increase your multiple if you decide to sell. Now, if you do want to rent land because of finance reasons or any other reasons, I will do a video after all of this explaining the best way to find land that you can rent. But for now, we were just going to talk about ways that you can buy the land. So back to buying land, you have 3 options in buying land. You can either buy in cash, you can either seller finance, or you can traditional finance through a bank. So let's talk about each one of these individually. First, we're going to talk about what it means to buy land in cash. Bronxy?
So you have a large sum of cash and you're finally ready to use it to buy a property. Buying in cash has plenty of benefits. For one thing, you'll be mortgage-free and save thousands on mortgage loan interest payments. The basic steps are 1. Get proof of funds from the bank. 2. Find the property. 3. Send an offer. 4. Do any inspections or land surveys. And 5. Close.
You have the full amount of cash to pay the seller and that the deed basically immediately gets transferred into your name. Next, here's Juno to explain what seller financing is.
Seller financing is a type of real estate agreement that allows the buyer to pay the seller in installments rather than using a traditional mortgage from a bank or other financial institution. It functions along similar lines on a mortgage loan, except that it cuts out the middleman and allows the property seller to own and oversee the debt instead of a traditional lender. The basic steps are 1. Find the property you want that's for sale. 2. Contact the owner. 3. Ask if they are willing to do seller financing terms. 4. Accept or counter terms. 5. Do any inspections or land surveys. 6. Close.
Thanks, Juno. So basically, seller financing is when the seller acts as the bank. Basically, you make monthly payments to the seller, and after all of those monthly payments are done, you then own the land outright. And lastly, here's Lucy to explain what buying land through a lender looks like.
Traditional financing, sometimes referred to as conventional loans, are types of mortgage loans generally issued by bank. The basic steps are 1. Get pre-approved with lender. 2. Find the property. 3. Send an offer. 4. Do any inspections or land surveys. 5. Close.
So now that you know the 3 ways that you can buy land, next we're going to talk about the ways that you can buy each specific type of land. First one is unimproved/raw land. Again, we have established that unimproved/raw land is basically land with no utilities or very little amount of utilities. Purchasing raw or unimproved land through a lender is exceedingly difficult because, God forbid, if the bank has to foreclose on the land, it is very hard for them to resell that land. So the 2 only real ways to buy unimproved or raw land is either cash or seller financing. Next is improved land. So obviously you can buy improved land with either cash or seller financing, but because it has utilities, it also opens the door to you being able to possibly finance the land through a lender. Now, if the property has utilities on it and it is in a popular location, you can go to a local bank and sometimes get financing for that land. Now, keep in mind, if there is no property on this land for collateral, these loans are a lot riskier transactions for lenders, so they might require a higher down payment and interest rate compared to most homes. And the reason why I say a popular location is that if you buy improved land in, let's say, Malibu, banks will feel a lot more comfortable lending towards that because they know that people will always want to live in Malibu, California. So another really creative way of buying land is actually through land hacking. Bronxy?
Land hacking is simply buying a home on acreage with a traditional mortgage. The home can be in whatever condition, as long as there are working utilities and the desired amount of land. One is buying the property not specially for the home itself, but the acreage and utilities that the home comes with. Because there is a home that can be appraised, banks will offer financing on this property.
So basically you're financing a tear down home in order to get the land and the utilities on it.
Ugh.
Is that, am I somewhat right? Yeah? Okay. So you understand the different types of land. You understand how you're going to buy the land once you find it. Next, let's go find the piece of land that you're going to buy to start your glamp site. So there are 3 ways to buy land. You got letters, wholesalers, and real estate agents. The first option is writing notes to specific people that own land and sending them letters to buy their land. That's how you are going to find the cheapest land. The next step above that, if you don't want to spend that much time doing that, is going directly to wholesalers. And that is going to be a little bit more expensive because wholesalers are then going to make their cut. Then one step above that is going to the MLS, and the MLS, they're going to have a real estate agent, and that's even going to be more expensive because real estate agents take even a bigger cut then and price it even higher than wholesalers do. In order to find the land that you are going to want to buy, you first need to understand what zoning is. Zoning is basically a table, standards, and a map which basically outlines what you are allowed to do and not allowed to do within a jurisdiction of that county.
It allows local governments to regulate which areas under their jurisdiction may have real estate or land used for particular purposes.
Now, there are over 3,000 different counties within the U.S. that all have different jurisdictions and guidelines for what you can and cannot do. So since I'm just the greatest teacher ever, I'm actually going to dive in and show you how to find the zoning to make sure that the land that you want to buy is correctly zoned. So step number 1 is pretty basic, but it's finding the name of the county that the piece of land that you want to buy is in. So let's choose the Grand Canyon county name. Look at that, Coconino County. So step number 2 is finding the parcel map for that county and the table for that county. It is very easy to do this. The first thing is you're going to type in the county and type in parcel map. And just like that, you are going to go to Coconino Parcel Viewer. Boom. I'm on the parcel map, baby. And next you're going to open up a new tab. You're going to type in Coconino County Zoning Table. Oh, first one. Look at that. Now we got the zoning ordinance. I'm opening these up in 2 different tabs. Step number 3 is typing in the APN number or the address of the piece of land that you want to buy. I'm actually buying this piece of land right now, so this is perfect. You're going to see literally what I did last week in order to buy this piece of land. Boom. There it is. That's the piece of land I'm buying from my boys Peter and Nick at Mount Vision LLC. Check them out. They sell a bunch of land in Coconino County. I'm buying these 2 acres in Coconino County. So that is step number 3, is typing in the address. Step number 4 is going down and finding the type of zoning. As you can see, it's agriculture, residential, 1 acre minimum. And that is what you need to know from the parcel map. So I am then going to go to my table, which is step 5. As you can see here on the left column, you have all the things that you can possibly do. And then on the top column, you have the different types of zoning. And then in the table, it shows you what type of permit you need for the specific type of zoning. All right, so this is for Coconino County only, and I'm not sure about your jurisdiction or the county that you're in, but basically, if you do any type of unit that is on wheels, so if you're doing a Airstream or a tiny home on wheels, all you need is a regular permit, which goes under a temporary use permit for agriculture residential. As you can see, AR right there, temporary uses. You basically just need a permit and you go through the regular permitting process that way. You can't do a campground in agriculture residential. The little dash means it's prohibited. If you want to just do a normal house, a mobile home, or single family dwelling, a tiny house on a permit foundation, those are all permittable. So it's really understanding what you want to do and what are the type of units you want to do to understand what land you need to buy. So obviously, if you want to do a temporary structure, which is basically anything on wheels, you could permit that with agriculture residential. If you want to do a campground, you can't get that permitted. So it's really the balance of knowing what you want to do structure-wise, and then it's finding the land that is zoned correctly to allow you to do what you really want to do legally. Now, if you have questions, I would highly recommend calling your zoning and planning and asking questions before you start spending money. So next, what I want you to do is, if the land that you want to buy doesn't fit the zoning that you want, I want you to reverse engineer it. I want you to find where the land with the correct zoning is and then try to buy land within that area. So to reverse engineer this, I want you to go Coconino County zoning and click that. So as you can see, when you reverse engineer this, right, you can find this is zoned general. This is zoned CG10. So if you go back to your table, you can actually see what all of these mean. G is general zone, AR is agricultural residential, CG 10,000, which is commercial general zone. That is how you're able to reverse engineer, and you are going to be able to find out what you're legally able to do within the jurisdiction of that county. So that is everything you need to know about buying the land. First is understanding the different types of land that you can buy. The next one is figuring out how you are going to buy the land. And third is finding the right piece of land with the correct zoning that allows you to do what you want to do with your glamping business. And that is everything you need to know about buying land. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. And if you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe. It helps a lot. I will see you in the next video. Structures. Peace.